Hello YouTubers, this is the Blue Defender with my first of hopefully many toy reviews coming your way. The first toy review that I wanted to start with was the Hulkbuster from the Diamond Select Marvel Select Series Wave. And for those of you that collect Marvel Select, you'll know that this is one of many figures that have been brought to us by Diamond Select. In fact, I believe this one is around 122 or 123 in terms of the order of figures that have been released. The first of which I believe was a Marvel Select Spider-Man. Now, in terms of articulation and detail and paint quality, definitely Marvel Select has come a long way. And this figure is probably one of my favorite Marvel Select figures of all time. And really it's due to paint quality, the sculpt, the durability of the figure, the articulation. So let's get into the review. Now, the Marvel Select Hulkbuster in terms of paint is really awesome. If you look at this compared to many other action figures you can tell are made from some sort of plastic. What Marvel Select does better pretty much than any other company is apply the paint and the quality of paint that looks almost metallic. So this Hulkbuster, which is kind of mostly a candy apple red with some gold and some silver paint applications here and there, is wonderful in terms of the vibrancy of color and in terms of really looking like a realistic suit of armor. So this Hulkbuster, for those of you that have seen the Avengers movie Age of Ultron, you'll know that the Hulkbuster uniform is very different from this one. This actually is the comic book version of the Hulkbuster uniform. Not as tall as the Hulkbuster that we saw in the movies, and definitely different in terms of what it offers from a suit of armor. So getting into the articulation, the head is kind of, on a swivel joint. It's a little bit hard to move, but it's definitely a lot easier than what some reviewers have noticed with their figures. But I can actually get this to turn. I mean, the trick is, not to put too much pressure as you're turning the head. And, with this figure also, the shoulder pads are fairly articulated. They do tend to pop off from time to time, but it's actually just a little plastic knob that you can just push it back into, so no worries there. The shoulders are on the ball hinge. It swivels at the bicep. Single jointed elbow, which also swivels. And the great thing about these joints is that they're kind of like the ratcheted joints. So in terms of durability, you don't have to worry that, oh my god, I'm going to break this figure at the joint. Going down the figure, it also has a nice ab crunch. And the ab crunch gives a nice range of movement. In terms of paint and detail, it definitely continues up through the upper ab, so you don't have to worry, if you pose it differently, that you'll lose some of the detail underneath. It has a nice ball hinge at the hip, single jointed knees, bends at the knees about that much, and in terms of rotation, it does rotate at the knee, so you don't have to worry that you don't have the upper thigh swivel. And then it does have great ankle articulation in terms of, doing pivot, in front and back. It really has a nice range of motion, and it's not too badly hindered by these kind of shin pads. You can get this figure into nice poses. The great thing about this figure is all around in terms of paint and in terms of sculpt and in terms of articulation. It's really top notch. The one thing that I am a little bit disappointed in is the fact that there is no finger articulation, which we've seen with some of the newer, and I'm forgetting if it's DC Direct or DC collectible figures that are similar. For those of you that collect a wide range of action figures, there is the Batman action figure that's in his suit of armor that's comparable to the Hulkbuster. Another great figure in terms of rating. You know, I would have given this figure, this Batman figure, a 10 out of 10, because in terms of articulation, attention to detail, and paint sculpt, it really fires on all cylinders. And this also has the finger articulation, which the Hulkbuster is lacking. In terms of size comparison, around the same height. Batman's probably a little bit taller, but definitely comparable figures. Now, another negative that I've heard with some of the other YouTube toy reviewers is that in terms of scale, it doesn't kind of fit into scale with some of the other Marvel Legends, like the Marvel Legends Hulk, which I don't think it's actually that bad out of scale. If you've followed along in the comic books, the Hulkbuster really isn't taller than the Incredible Hulk. Now, in the movies, we did see something differently, and I believe with the Build-A-Figure, we'll be getting a larger Hulkbuster. So this Hulkbuster, I think, fits nicely into scale with the Hulk. And even if you wanted to pose him alongside some of the other, like, Marvel Legend figures, if you collect them, here's a recent Spider-Man from the recent Marvel Legends wave. This Spider-Man that I believe came along with the Ultron Build-A-Figure. It just is great in terms of articulation and paint, so it fits nicely into scale with both of these figures. So there you have it. If I were to rate the Hulkbuster in terms of a 1 to 10 rating, I definitely would give the Hulkbuster a 9.5. The only thing that would make it a 10 would be the finger articulation, but otherwise, really great figure, easily posable, great articulation, beautiful paint, beautiful sculpt. The attention to detail is really, really awesome with this figure. So thanks again. Please feel to share, rate, subscribe. Definitely a ton more videos coming your way. If you guys have any requests or any suggestions, I would love to see that in the comments below. So thanks again, YouTube. Blue Defender, signing off. Bye.